we interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you this live broadcast.
Welcome, everybody. We are live from the Quasette of Cannes Lions 2026. And wow, you can probably hear in the background the buzz, the energy, the chaos. This place is on another level.
The sun's out, rosé is flowing, and the food is next level. And the entire global media and marketing industry has descended on this one strip of beautiful coastline. It's exactly why we keep coming back every year.
But this year, we're doing something a little different.
Yep, we're taking Commerce Media Matters out of the studio and onto the road, literally.
That's right. We'll be cruising along the Quasette in our podcast van, picking up leaders from across the industry, from Omnicom, Adnami, Index Exchange, News Corp, Publicmatic, you name it, they're there.
And we're getting their unfiltered, in-the-moment takes on the industry, on Cannes, and what's actually happening on the ground here, right from the podcast van with mine and Nick's faces on it. A little embarrassing.
So whether you're here in Cannes or tuning in from afar, buckle up because this is Commerce Media Matters, the Cannes Lions edition.
Let's go!
In this episode, we sat down with Regina Yeh, CEO and co-founder of Topsort, and Kunal Nagpal, Chief Business Officer at InMobi.
Let's get into it. So welcome to Commerce Media Matters.
Thanks for having me.
What a beautiful location to be doing a podcast.
Yes.
Just cruising around. The best part is we get the view with the air conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice and cool.
Yeah.
The van is sick. Like, it's really cool.
It is, isn't
very
it?
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to our Easy Studio friends.
And the
who-
team to pull it together.
That's right.
Rachel and co. It's been fantastic.
Nice.
You have got a product which is really kind of growing and kicking goals. Can you, in your words, just for the audience, tell us a little bit more? What's your elevator pitch? Give us Topsort, because I'd love to hear it in your own words.
Great. Yeah. So Topsort, the company has been around for more than 5 years.
Yeah.
We started with a very simple mission of democratize what works really well for the big tech. So in terms of ad monetization. So basically taking that whole layer and making it into friendly products that could be for people who are just starting their retail media journey or commerce media journey, or later on when they're trying to scale and optimize. And then the other part is that we also see the fragmentation and just kind of the question around how big can the market be. So we have also been building tools around like kind of helping with like standardizing and tapping into the full scale of the market. And then the past 2 years, we've been doing more commerce AI as well.
Okay.
Because like when ChatGPT 3 first came out, we were like, what if search completely goes away, or even if it just reduces 20%, what happens? So have been doing a lot of work on that, and we're seeing those things start to merge.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
And that we caught up with your team in NRF in Singapore, and there was a lot of interest in the presentation. I think McKill made he's a great presenter, by the way. And it was really interesting to see how you're bringing together the orchestration of the assets on site, but also the third-party media components.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Your partnerships with, I think, Publicmatic and other things coming online?
Yeah, so offsite kind of started becoming a really hot topic, I think, all over Cannes last summer. We heard that a lot. And then we're starting to see that just basically blending together more and more. And for a lot of retailers who have to fight over like very precious on-site inventory, that becomes like a really nice place to build out business case and proof points. So that's one thing. And then the other is that we think there's a lot for commerce media on-site to learn from programmatic world in a way as well. So then like the tech there and just kind of how things are done, like they're becoming more and more connected.
Yeah, I think you're right. Last year it was just the start of retail media, and the conversations around getting data to work offsite were there. And I feel like, particularly in Singapore, that NRF was all about, okay, how do we get it all working together now with the third party piece? What do you think this week at Cannes is going to hold for us? What's your hot tip for where retail media is going to move in the sort of the next 3 to 6 months? Because anything longer, who knows? It's a crystal ball. But where do you think?
I have some assumptions, and we're just at the beginning of Cannes, so I have no idea if I'm going to be completely
it's a
right.
tough question to first up.
You can drop them on us.
But I feel like as an industry, we're in a bit of a confused moment. Like there's a lot of uncertainty around technology. Where is it headed? Like even I think strategically, like a lot of companies are thinking about how do I weigh my priorities? Is it really still retail media, or is it really more about AI and agentic commerce? Is AI far from us, like kind of more like hype, or is it real and like gotta react tomorrow even if my retail media isn't in a good spot? So I think there's a lot of that in people's minds right now that maybe is not necessarily spoken
Well,
out
Kiri
loud.
Masters has a narrative around this, and she talks to it quite often, and is very vocal in saying, "Hey, not everyone wants to talk about this, but it's a conversation we have to have in the room." And I feel that's what you're believing or you're getting to as well, right?
Yeah.
You're finding the same thing.
I think so, yeah. And I really like her like content in
Shout
general.
out to
Just
Kiri,
like
she's great.
yeah, Kira's
Yeah.
great, and fellow Aussie as
A
well.
fellow Aussie,
Yeah.
yep.
And then I think like definitely. So I'm curious kind of how like in Cannes you get to meet some really smart people who are at the cutting edge of the industry. They make decisions that sort of collectively shape the industry. And I'm curious to see like which path they pick. If they're gonna keep sort of like saying, you know what, that's not even a priority for us, we're gonna keep going this way, or we're gonna throw our previous plan out the window and like go all in on the new direction. That's sort of what kind of like intrigues me.
Do you feel that this agentic narrative and what we're seeing with UCP, we recently in Australia we saw Google launch with a number of partners there as their first kind of Google marketing, shopping partners. Is there a threat here? Is there an issue? Do you think it's going to negatively impact retail media networks? Because that's also the narratives some are talking to. Do you think that's not conversations not being had?
I think there's a little bit of retail media's scope either gets to expand or kind of goes away in a way, because before you were sort of fighting with the organic search folks or like the kind of seller teams, but now it's going to be just one whole pie, but like it needs to be all connected for the pie to grow.
Yeah.
And that requires a lot of trade-offs and just like quick decisions. And I've heard some really kind of like anticipation or anxiety like from some like leaders in the market, and I'm curious to see like how fast people can adapt to it. But I definitely think that's kind of like we've talked so much about AI and agentic commerce, like it's really now about actions.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk, but is agentic commerce here for the consumer yet? Do you feel that it's actually having its moment, or do you think we'll be here in 12 months' time and next year's Cannes might be when we actually see it? Because even if you look at the universal cart that Google's launched, there's not many merchants that have signed up to that yet.
Yeah.
You saw OpenAI make an attempt with just putting a shop now button, I guess, on the page, and they've sort of pulled back from that as well. When do you think we'll actually see the impact at a consumer level of agentic commerce?
I think for some, it's already happened, maybe not in the obvious way. It's not just one button that you can shop with like an AI tool, but also like is your inventory and warehouse system talking to the ad system and the search system and the chat. So like I think that's kind of already happening in the background, and people are sort of seeing results and numbers from that. And like we've also been testing it. And really interesting. And then sort of the beauty of that is like there's not a lot of option, or like we're all trying something new together. So I think that's kind of an interesting one. And then in terms of consumer, I definitely think it will be maybe a lot more like mobile, where it was kind of like just unthinkable about like, hey, I'm going to buy this like $800 electric scooter online. Like I remember I had a job one time in Germany and I did that, and like my boss looked at me at the time like, you're crazy. Like, how come you just bought something on your phone?
On your
like,
phone,
yeah. And then like now it's like,
now
of course.
it's just
particularly in certain countries and cultures,
Exactly.
it's mobile first.
Yes. So I think in certain demographics, certain like countries, and then also like categories, it will become so much the default in a couple of years. And like you don't need it to be 100% to take over, right? Like if it's just 20%, it's significant.
Yeah, right. And we're talking about, I suppose, right now, agent to agent from an infrastructure perspective. What about for discovery of new products? I mean, I know from the brand's perspectives, that's kind of like their big fear is how do we communicate our brand and create a relationship with the brand within an AI, environment or an AI surface like chat, etc.
Yeah, it's really a different like landscape completely. And our view has been sort of, if you think about it, like so much of what we've kind of copied in terms of infrastructure in commerce media has been around like the form of like Amazon ads, right? Or
Yes.
like
Yeah.
Google
Yeah.
ads. But like, I think it's going to be a year where it's really hard to hide if you don't have the technology.
Yeah.
And it kind of just like collapses so much of like the wrapper, and then like you really get exposed if you don't have the fundamentals right. And then like also the other thing is like authenticity in terms of like brand marketing, because there's just this abundance of content, and I think everyone's getting like fatigue around it. So like
Absolutely.
we're seeing with Gen Zs, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like really authentic and just really basic stuff sometimes can still win. So
Yeah.
like I think there's a little bit of like now you have to go down to the basics, and the conversation's kind of a little bit of like we have to be honest with each other moment.
It's interesting. You've picked there seems to be a theme with a couple of the podcasts we've
There
had
is,
about
isn't
the
there?
brilliant basics
Yeah.
and getting those right, so that you are ready with the infrastructure to do the more creative stuff as it comes. Authenticity and trust, I think, is a large part of
Themes,
the
right,
AI
today?
AI piece. Another theme. I think the influencer beaches here at Cannes. It's the first year I've seen some of the influencer groups take over the front beach at Cannes. They're
Wow.
definitely
The
front
massive
and
shift.
center.
Yep.
It's a big shift that we've seen.
Yeah.
What other shifts are you seeing? You know, when you speak to your retailer partners, for example, what are they talking to you about?
I think like a few years ago, the conversation was really not about the details or like the uncomfortable truth. It was about who has flashier, like, you know, PowerPoints or like better narrative and storytelling. And now, and I've literally had like retailers told me, many of them like, I don't care. Like, it feels like I'm just buying a car. I don't want to look under the hood. You guys all have the same pitch.
Yes.
And then now it's very different. Like, I think people have been, this is not the first rodeo, and they're sort of saying,
Yeah.
hey, it's my second and third time scaling this or building this, and I know what are the traps to avoid or what are the things to look for.
Yep.
So I feel like even within like maybe the enterprise market or like a B2B model, we're starting to see that too, like the trust, the authenticity, and like that comes through a lot. So I feel like there's a bit more of like, are we doing this right? And there's room to have those like uncomfortable conversations or like more like some of the key narratives. I
Yeah.
think like
Okay.
even just the fact that we can talk about it now, and instead of talking about, hey, have you heard of commerce media? Have you heard of retail media?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
is a very interesting thing. The other one is like, I think there's a bit of an adulting for the industry. Like,
I like that phrase.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
a great way to discuss. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that. That's cool.
I was at our own event in Sao Paulo last week, actually. And
Yeah.
then, like, I think because of the scale of the Brazilian market, you get to hear, like,
South America's a really strong market for you guys, right?
very strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then some of our retailer partners were just saying, hey, you know what? Like, it's just not enough if we're better than other retailers. Like, right now, we're being compared against Google, against Meta. So we need to really come, like, into the next league. And when you're, like, eyeing that, I think the bar raises even higher. But it's also an exciting moment because now we're actually like seeing that it's possible.
And from a technology perspective, South America and I'm told from Brazil, there's a lot of the retailers really lean into innovation, right? And that's actually worked out brilliantly for you guys from your growth. Is that the what you've experienced there?
I think like it was sort of one of those markets for us that it was very like pragmatic, like the conversations. We were just like, hey, this is the solution. Here's like, let's do it. So I think there's definitely a willingness to experiment. And then the other part is also like there's a lot of like good components there, right? Like if
Yeah.
you look at the similarities, like so many countries where like you have to think about currencies and like just the governance of like a multi-country media network, which is similar to Europe.
Yeah.
And then you also think about like a very large country with the scale and the complexity that's sort of the same size-ish as the US in terms of population or others. Like it's a really good testing ground. And I think
Absolutely.
because we were able to get a head start in LATAM with some of the retail groups, we were actually able to sort of go further with them because we're on year 3 and 4 with our partnership. So then it's like there's that trust to say we don't even want to be a beta customer, we want to be an alpha customer. That gives us like a lot of confidence and just like ways to like perfect the product and practice together with them.
I was pretty blown away by the readiness to sort of jump now on the Southeast Asian market. I thought that was really interesting. They're sort of probably a little bit behind in some ways, but they're sort of poised to take a big leap.
Yeah.
Is there any other regions you think are really interesting to watch right now?
US is having a moment now. Like I think one thing that we really like about the US market is that it always has an appetite for tech. Like
Yes.
it's just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
doesn't care about anything else. It's always like there to try the new things and like want to buy tech. I think that's interesting. And then also there are a few of the like Australian or like kind of UK markets where share sort of like similar traits where, you know, they're all coming off the same legacy tech stack or they're sort of
Yeah,
stuck
okay.
with similar issues or even when it comes to org planning. But I would say like today, overall, like Americas has been a really interesting one for us because of the questions they're asking.
Yeah.
Like,
Is it because it's a mature retail media network market? Like you mentioned before, like they've developed these are, you know, retailers that have developed out. It's not their first rodeo, and now they know what they want and what they want to achieve and where the friction points are. What are you finding with the US?
I think that one, and then also just like the fact that it's the reward's big if you get it right.
Yeah,
Like
Right.
such a big population.
It's-
That's right. It's interesting for me. I mean, my take on the US is that they're definitely a lot more advanced in retail media on the digital side, but maybe haven't coordinated their fixed assets as much. Whereas markets like, I suppose, Australia, where I'm from, or the UK seem to have gone the fixed assets first, and now they're only getting into
Yep.
the digital assets. And that's, I suppose, what's so exciting about the US market, because the tech can really come into its own when you're incorporating that digital experience, right?
Yeah, it's kind of got the best of both worlds. I feel like it combines the traits of like the UK and Australian market, and then also at the same time, like some of the things we see in LATAM as well, like and like just always willing to try something new. I think that's kind of the general, like always been the same we see in the US.
So, Regina, there's a lot of complexity in what we do. You know, would you say that it's getting less complex? Would you say, I mean, I know that people are looking to AI for those solutions, but where do you think we're at on the whole complexity level with retail media? et cetera?
Yeah, I have a lot of feelings on this one. This
Yeah.
is probably a hot topic we
Unload
discuss
us.
a
Let's
lot.
go.
Let's get
A
into
lot
it.
internally. We talk a lot about this. I think there's a little bit of like a vendor bloat happening for a lot of retailers right now. Like for the past few years, they buy a lot of solutions. Like
Yes.
we probably talked to some of the guys that are telling us the same things. Like, hey, we got this A, B, C, D, and then we still have the same issue and it's eroding our margin. It's very complex to manage. And I think going back to the brilliant basics, it's a little bit like that. Like
Yep.
I think some retailers are sort of like coming to the realization if we spread all our eggs in way too many baskets, like it's
It's-
still not gonna work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
spreading yourselves too thin, and
Yeah.
it's too complex.
The brilliant basics, really.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
important, isn't it?
Yeah. And then we believe in like having good technology and good
Yeah.
product that actually like sometimes if it works, double down and it actually works.
You need look.
Yeah.
The product itself needs to stand up on its own,
Yep.
but you also need to have a cohort of people that truly understand what you're offering
Yeah.
to get the most out of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bit of education and I
I
think
think
there's
so.
and like willingness to evolve together
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
And you have to evolve together, because what is right today in 3 to 6 months' time can be,
That's
it's
exactly
so
it, isn't
rapidly
it?
changes,
So
doesn't it?
changes
It's changing so
fast.
fast. I think
Yeah.
even the industry, like the people have been
Yeah.
changing so fast
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
year too. So I definitely think so. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the number one session that you are planning to go to this week that you just don't
What are you
think
looking out
everyone
for?
should go for? What do you think's the big ticket item in town this week?
So I'm actually interested in the McKinsey AI.
Yeah. Shout out to Quentin.
Quentin.
We'll speak
Yeah.
into him
Yep.
later.
fan.
I'm very interested in that one because it was all over the news.
Yeah.
Yep.
How the AI firms have engaged the big consulting companies,
Yes.
and I absolutely think there's a huge gap between like where Silicon Valley thinks AI is at and like where retailers think AI is at. And then I'm
Yeah,
curious
right.
how like McKinsey, et cetera, can help bridge the gap and how they sort of spin it. So that would be something I'm looking forward to.
Not one to
Amazing.
miss. Not one to miss at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
Regina, it's
having
been
me.
an absolute pleasure,
Yeah.
and it's been
You
very
guys are doing some
insightful.
cool stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I think we're
Congratulations,
we're
great.
talking partnership along the road there too.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, we're
Cool.
excited.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having
Yeah.
me.
Awesome.
Enjoy. It's day one in Cannes. You've probably been rushed off your feet. What's the key theme from day one?
You've been
so far?
everywhere. I
You've
can
been
tell by your
everywhere. We
wrist.
can see your wristbands.
Yeah, Jesus. It's a rite of passage these days.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm hearing this time, and I was hoping to hear it from agencies to advertisers, they're no longer talking about, the bogeyman of AI. They're actually talking about,
Embracing it.
show me how you will help me cross the bridge between all that promise and what I'm unable to do myself. So
Right.
help me be my partner in that agentic journey.
Yes.
And I feel like that's a big shift in the last even 6 months, forget last Cannes, where everybody was like, ride or die, and we'll do everything on our own. Like, otherwise, who are we? And now they're like, actually, we need partners.
Yes.
We need people who get it. And commerce is like the single biggest thing that they're trying to solve, which they can't do on their own. Like,
Yeah.
we can't do it on our own,
And
but we know we want to solve it.
they've tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're very open about it. Like,
Yeah.
look, we thought we could, but it's
Mm.
just a beast because the world out there is
Yeah.
8 billion people, and we thought we could do it.
Well, I mean, you can't go anywhere though without talking about AI.
Yeah.
Agentic and all that stuff's coming, but the brilliant basics are required first. You need your infrastructure
Yeah.
in line. That's probably where the
Yeah.
brilliant basics, and then I think we're starting to see the experimentation on top of that brilliant basics.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
100%. I think I was giving this example to somebody. We just crossed our 4,000th agent in InMobi.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? We built 4,000
Amazing.
agents. But when people look back to like 18 months ago when we started like truly focusing on it and said, oh, you know what? The first 2,500 were like completely like shit.
Yeah.
Like we made such bad agents. And I was like, no.
Well, you appreciate the
You
honesty.
learned
You
2,500
exactly.
times
That's
You're
right.
to build the
learning,
next
learning.
one
Yeah.
because we didn't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We shouldn't expect the clients are any better because they're all struggling the same problems.
Yeah.
And at least 1,000 of them were stuck at that bare bones infrastructure.
Mhm.
Everybody had an idea in their head, except they don't know, okay, what data should be coming in? How should I be parsing it?
Yep.
What data should work on it? How should I train it? And we learned on the way,
Mhm.
and it's fine.
Yeah.
But that basics, if we didn't solve that, and I don't think we solved it fully, wouldn't have gotten us to our 4,000 agent.
Yeah.
What an incredible amount of learning that's happened in Mobi
Yeah.
in that period.
And it's, in some ways, we're a very proud tech company, right? We
Yeah.
build stuff. But in other ways, this was probably the most humbling phase. Because on the one side, you're like, we got to be on this train or we will not exist in a few years. And then on the other hand, you're like, you thought you were a techie. This is your moment.
Mm.
Like, when else do you find these sort of big transformations in your career?
That's right. I think the
Yeah,
last
that's
one was
bang
maybe
on,
the
isn't it?
Industrial
Yeah.
Revolution. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's how big this thing is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's brave of you to do that experimentation because that's what's required. Because
Yeah.
nobody can, like, we were talking to people, what do you think is going to happen in the next 3 to 6 months? Because no one can predict post 6 months.
Yeah.
So on that line,
Yeah.
we're talking about commerce media. You the brilliant basics now in place. What do you see the next wave of innovation in the next 3 to 6 months?
I've tried a few times now, even today, trying to separate commerce from commerce media.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are still mixing the two as if it's the same thing. And I keep telling them, no. Closing a transaction is commerce.
Mhm.
Showing people what to buy is commerce media.
Mm-hmm.
So separate the two. Can you go from commerce media to commerce? Yes, that's the goal. You want to do that. That's the state of nirvana everybody wants to. But they're separate. So you approach it differently,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in my head, the next 6 months, maybe sooner, I don't know, the brands, the D2C brands who are sort of at the front of this sort of change are going to insist on a single flow of transaction, including closing of the payment terms
Right.
in that same ad unit, if you will.
I agree.
Right.
I mean,
Sounds
obviously,
so familiar to us,
at
Kunal.
Vudoo.
I mean, look, you guys are in the middle of it, so I'm sure you hear more than we do. But when I was having this conversation with one of the big holdcos today, I was showing them our Glance product, and they're like, wait, so this is now commerce. I'm like, yeah, this is commerce. So we should have a conversation about how do you enable commerce? And like, okay, so how do I close this transaction? I'm like, well, that's where I want to go next,
Yeah.
right? I want to close this transaction right now, right here. I don't want you to ever go to a second, like web page.
Yep.
That's terrible for a consumer experience. That's terrible for a brand. I think we live in an age where we can actually solve it,
We can.
right?
Yeah.
For the 20 years, we've not been, but we are now in that
We're
time
here
we
now.
can.
Yeah, well,
We're here now. The technology exists.
At Vudoo,
as we know.
we liken it to, if you're walking past the shop and the doors are closed.
Yeah.
You can't get in. You can see, you can do the window shopping.
Yeah.
But you can't, if you want to make that
There's-
transaction, you can't.
Yeah.
And so, that's been our mission at Vudoo, is to try and make sure that all surfaces are open for the transaction. And it doesn't have to be just about the completion of the transaction. It's all those intense signals that you can gain for down the road in the next step on the journey. So
That
it's
lead to
interesting.
it.
It's interesting you
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The signals are super important.
like, how do you position the richness of the data and those signal sets that come through in comparison to the actual transaction? Do you find that that's the goal? Both of the goal, they're both important. What's important to you?
We've built Glance, and you guys have seen a flavor of it. We've built Glance on the foundational sort of thesis that this is our age of hyper-personalization.
Mm-hmm.
And when you bring in commerce and hyper-personalization, it essentially starts from signals at an individual level.
Mhm.
It's not hyper if it's not the right signals. It's definitely not
Mm.
personalization if you're trying to do a generic idea,
Agreed.
right? Which is why we went the O&O route versus enabling only on the 3P side, which is what the foundation of the company was,
Mhm.
right? So from my point of view, it's the same conversation as you don't build agents until you solve the baseline
Mhm.
of, the
basics.
infrastructure.
Yes.
If you don't have the right signals, I don't know how you would ever achieve, a better outcome on a commerce transaction.
Yeah. I think it's also a maturity around what a signal is.
Yeah.
Especially in an AI or in an experience such as Glance. That I
Yeah.
know from our own, from the conversations we've been having, and for us, signals, interactions, clicks. That's the physical manifestation of what's happening with that human, but the intent behind it is the signal.
Yeah.
And those signals are rich, and if you cannot personalize those as part of that journey, to your point, you're not going to get that transaction. But you can then also take that you might be able to bring them back the second or the third or the fourth time because you've got a rich set of data there.
It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You do it once. Every transaction after that keeps adding to that idea of now I know you.
Yeah.
Now I know you better,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And I must not send you like random spam suggestions. We will
Well,
interact
that's
with
when their
you.
trust goes.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
long as you're improving their user experience, right? It's the consumers are happy to pass over data if they're getting something in return that's not creepy. All right.
Well, creepy, and also the user experience is also driven by how much can I relate to it,
Yeah. Absolutely.
right? It's not just like spammy stuff.
Yep.
It's also, I come to Glance because I see my whole wardrobe changing over time.
Mhm.
But my wardrobe is not only jeans and a white t-shirt, right? As you get to know me, I want to help myself through you get better at, okay, I actually need a jacket. I need something else, right? But I'm saying that's where I think user experience also is, or at least the expectations are moving.
You're fantastically dressed, so you've obviously been using Glance to get your
No
outfit.
Glance is not very flattering
No
on you.
doubt. But I also think that you're saying there in regards to the consumer and the experience.
Yeah.
That's what for Paul's point about the brilliant basics. Is getting that experience and also ensuring that and that's, I think, also the power of the Glance AI is there's taking those signals and improving it, like you said, and constantly improving it.
Yeah.
So that relationship with the person who's engaged with Glance gets more personalized, but lands really well, right? There's nothing that seems strange or that's it's out of place because it gets to know me more and more and more, and it feels very familiar and comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, look, you
take on it.
There is, I don't know anybody in the world who hasn't interacted with Amazon. But if you look at even the Amazon, your own homepage, in the last 2 years, it's dramatically improved because they keep using your signals of previous browsing history.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like 2 years ago, I used to get randomized suggestions because for one time I clicked on something to buy as a gift for somebody else's kid. Now I'm getting that gibberish. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's not me, not me. And I had to multiple dislikes and block this for Amazon to get the signal. Now it's seamless.
And I think that's back to your point. The technology is here.
Yeah.
It exists.
And it exists
We
at
can do
the
this
price
now.
point where you can democratize it.
Yeah.
That's right.
That was a big difference in the last 2 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the thing is with shopping on the internet as well. I think you saw OpenAI just try to put a checkout button. That's not shopping.
That's not shopping.
No, you've got to allow the user to interact. That's where these valuable data points that we were talking about before, those intent signals.
What a contrast to Glance.
Yeah, but
really,
it is massive contrast.
Massive contrast.
And that's where brands are also wondering: how do I get the customer to interact with my brand, have a relationship with my brand within AI environments, not just I'm using OpenAI to ask a couple of questions and I want to hit the purchase button at the end of it. No, they want to have an interaction. They want to have a relationship, right?
This is extremely underrated from anybody who's not in a brand.
Mm.
because we sort of take it for granted that brands have it figured out.
Mhm.
But most brands are struggling to build that one-on-one relationship.
Mm.
Like look at half of this cross-set, right? You have these brands who are like, oh, we know our users
Mhm.
because they've ordered, food through us 72 times last year. Like,
Mhm.
what you know is a hashed email.
Yeah.
You don't know the user,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
now, if I have a chat response or a voice response, over time they're getting to know me.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
right.
And that's a huge difference, right? And if the bigger brands don't work on it, the D2C brands see this as their opportunity of a lifetime
Mhm.
Mm.
to get ahead of the legacy, slow-moving giants
Mhm.
by having this conversation one-on-one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, the technology exists,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
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 Fascinating.
I also think it's interesting when they, with retail media and commerce media in general, the retailers' data is amazing. But we were talking about this earlier with some of the themes of some of the other podcast guests we've had, is that you only have one part of it. You only have their interactions with you as a retailer. And what I think is really interesting is these ecosystems of people partnering. So, we saw Connective launched last year, and they're partnered with Marriott.
Yeah.
And that's a complementary relationship where they're getting more understanding of the consumer,
Yeah.
and they're both benefiting because, I don't think these retailers realize that there's a whole world out there outside of that retail relationship that the consumer needs to act with. And I think, glance and those sorts of things, you start to train that into it over time, right? So,
yeah. Trade Desk announced that, right, last week?
Yep.
Where they've taken all these airlines and these hotels, put them into one pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right? I think it's exactly that, right? Let me give you a better 360 view of your consumer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Right? And it's super powerful.
Yeah.
100%.
Understand that mid journey, what they're doing, what they're purchasing. Yeah.
Your journey shouldn't end just because I took a flight with you once,
No.
right?
No.
I should be building a lifelong relationship, but that can only happen if you have the context over time.
Shout out to a mutual friend, Amy Owen,
Yeah.
who we love. We
Yeah.
had her on today.
Yeah.
And she was speaking to that exact same thing, saying the travel industry's really got a handle on that understanding around when to put certain things at certain place and offers and understanding the customers. And there's probably some areas of retail media that could learn a lot from that.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Do you think that yes, to that point, travels is advancing to the point where we could look to it?
I think it's advancing, but unlike, what would I say? Amy has a colleague, Elizabeth Donovan, right? Who sits on the Axiom side.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yes.
She came from Marriott.
Yeah.
She set up the Marriott Media Network, right?
Yeah.
You talk to her and she'll tell you Marriott saw an opportunity, but they saw an opportunity to make better margin.
Right.
Not as an opportunity to truly work with their consumers now.
Interesting.
And then say, okay, Marriott has relationships with an airline also, right? They all have reciprocity these days. And they have, I don't know, 6,500 hotels or something.
Yeah.
How do I track this user across my properties? And when they don't stay at my property and I know they've not stayed because they searched and they bounced, you can predict much better these days on, probability of staying somewhere else.
Yep.
Why?
Why? Yeah.
Right? Link it to the airline and suddenly you have a picture that you never could have before. So to Amy's point, I think the hotel chains, and when they think about media, they think of it from a margin lens. They've not yet thought of it as,
Interesting.
here is my strategic jump because now I can understand my consumer better. And I think part of it is because there are not nearly as many hotel chains,
Yeah, gotcha.
right?
Yeah,
They don't
that's a great
have to
take.
compete every single day with, like the airlines do.
Yeah.
So you see airlines getting so much more advanced in how they work with consumers. Like you look at the apps.
Yeah.
You look at a United Airlines app. It's like a light year ahead of a Marriott app,
Yeah. It's a fantastic product.
right?
Yeah.
You can live your whole United journey on it, change flights, cancel flights, revise flights, everything.
Use your points to
On
buy
a Marriott,
products.
it puts me on a web view every third click.
Which is a poor user experience. Yeah.
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 And I also don't know how much Marriott is then able to actually understand because now I switched to web view.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Signals drop right away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my take on it.
No, we love hearing it.
So if there's one session that you're planning on going to this week, you may have already gone to it.
Yeah.
What session is it? Who
And
are
your
you
diary
looking
must
to
be
hear from?
jammed this week.
Yeah. What are you making time from that is like an absolute must see?
There's a conversation that I have I can't reveal yet because they're potentially strategic investors into Glance in 2 days from now. And their conversation, like over the last couple of months, made us realize if you reimagine Glance not as our property, but a global property. And I'm saying global because I want us to disassociate from the emotions of building Glance and saying, what would somebody else have done if they had Glance? And they've opened up our eyes to it, right? And opened up our minds to it. And this conversation in 2 days is about how do you think embedding Glance in any real estate outside of your app?
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
And we've had some preliminary chats with some brands where they're like, hey, our real estate has still the same experience that when, web pages were built.
Yes.
You walk into any URL and you're like, filter, scroll,
Yep.
miserable 3 things.
Yep.
I'll return 2 of them. Like, how do we change? So we know if some of that reception exists.
Yep.
But this investor is making us think more. And so this follow-on conversation in 2 days is for us to rethink Glance as if it's not our product, it's a global product, and which all real estates would it work seamlessly. And I'm excited
So
about
you
this.
could potentially see retailer X powered by Glance and that experience.
100%.
Okay.
And it's not just
cool.
it's not just retailer. It's also reimagining. Oh wait, can I have the same conversation with the Marriott? Can I have the same conversation with United? Can I have the same conversation with Uber? I don't know, but this is making us get out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I like being out of my comfort zone because then I know I've to learn a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm really excited
That's a
about
generous share.
just,
That's a really important meeting.
discussion.
That's a big meeting for you this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll-
Congratulations.
We'll stick our search people on you, track you to see where this meeting is.
Yeah, who the
See if we
investor
can
is.
reveal who it is.
exactly. Where is he following now? Where's Kunal? Where's he heading to next?
Yeah. No, but I mean that's what I always find about coming to Cannes is there's those conversations. I mean, it's Festival of Creativity for a reason because these conversations are sparked here, the thinking's sparked here, and if you can't walk away with something like that, those inspired conversations, then you're not doing Cannes right.
You can do Cannes in many different ways. For me, it's like if I'm going to be here away from family and I'm going to be like on 16-hour days, day after day after day,
back to back.
I want to find conversations that'll inspire me at least for a year.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's like I could have met half these people in New York or London.
There's
or
enough
whatever.
content here, an opportunity to do exactly that.
Yeah.
Inspire you for the rest of the 12 months.
Yeah.
How many Cannes have you done now?
This is my 5th.
Yeah. I'm on the same, and I've seen it evolve, and I think there's I guess a more willingness to actually do business and get something done here. There's a higher level of person coming along. It's no longer a junket.
Yeah.
It is definitely, I want to be inspired,
Yeah.
but I want to get a deal done. And I'm going to make sure that by Cannes, we've got something to say.
And for us, the conversation that moved from we could do something together to like, let's build something together.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? And that is like taking to the next level of, okay, we're a tech company.
Yeah.
We'll build something together.
Yeah.
And that's just fun. Like just at our core, we want to build stuff.
I found working towards even our conversations and other conversations we've been having, Cannes been the kind of the moment to move it forward into something.
Yeah.
Let's make it tangible from here.
Yeah.
Let's inspire us all, but let's actually make what we've been talking about tangible.
Yeah.
And that's been even a theme for us today. Like in between these recordings, we've been having heaps of meetings, but I always find the lead up and the working towards Cannes, it's like, let's use Cannes as a springboard into the rest of what we're going to achieve. It feels like that for me.
Yeah.
It's a really important moment throughout the year. Yeah. So I kind of, that resonates here with what you're saying there. Thank you for sharing. You've got a big meeting on.
Yeah. I'm excited.
And for us from Little Old Australia, and obviously Vudoo's a global company, so we get and we're very lucky with our podcast that we get to speak to a lot of leaders across the different regions. There's a question we ask everyone. So you also got a view across a lot of different regions.
Right.
Where's hot right now? Where are the surprise regions that are doing cool stuff? Where the innovation,
hunger, appetite.
Yeah,
it's gonna be controversial.
No, we like it.
You heard it here first.
But
turn up the listeners.
This is my number one focus right now, and everybody in InMobi knows I'm very passionate about this. I'm here to see the Chinese brands come to life over the next 24 months.
Yes,
you will start seeing Chinese brands start taking over the Croisette very soon.
Okay.
I was walking with somebody on the Croisette today, and I'm like, look at that guy wearing that soccer jersey, and he's like, what is this? I'm like, that's a Chinese
Mm.
footwear company called Li Ning.
Yeah.
Li
Okay.
dash Ning. And he's like, how do you even pronounce that? I'm like, it's like lining, but with a dash in it.
Yeah.
Why? Because the founder was a Chinese gymnast, gold medalist at Olympics 3 times over,
Great story.
retired, started his footwear company. He signed Steph Curry last week on a 10-year deal for $400 million.
Wow.
Okay.
Nobody knew this company existed.
Mm.
Yeah.
And he just broke into the upper echelon, like with one deal straight
Yep.
up.
Bang.
Yeah.
He's not even the biggest footwear company in China.
Yeah. Okay.
And you start seeing that, I'm like, there is hunger.
So you're talking about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
actual brands from
Actual
China?
brands.
Actual brands.
Not the infrastructure guys. Like, I mean, we've
So
seen
it's- no,
Alibaba
it's
and
the
those
It's that,
actual
guys.
brands.
is it that
Yeah,
market
okay.
breaking
The
out
market is
and
breaking
going-
out now.
and-
They're like,
and
we've
global.
earned our jobs
Yeah.
inside. Now we'll go out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Like,
interesting.
how many people know that it's another footwear company now into a broader retail company from China that owns architects, Solomon, Colon, Descent.
Yeah.
They
Right.
own them.
They own
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, wait, no, but that's from Sun Valley, Idaho. That's from Korea. I'm like, no,
No.
they're owned by
Mm.
Chinese are
Yeah.
obsessed with Nike.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're obsessed with Nike.
Yeah.
Nike is no longer the number 1 brand.
Yeah. Wow. No,
Anta is-
Yeah.
they're
I
struggling,
walked into
Nike.
the Anta store. I'm like, guys, I want to look at your shoe range because I'd heard about them. They said, okay, these are regular everyday shoes and these are marathon running shoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I picked up the marathon running shoes. I've not held a lighter pair in my hand ever.
Yeah. Right.
And I then went back home and I used them on my treadmill. I kid you not.
Are you?
I
Are you a
stopped the
runner?
treadmill. No, I'm not, but I know I
Be
need
careful,
to run
because
better.
if you are, because
Yeah, exactly.
we'll do a whole podcast
Yeah.
about running. Trust me.
I'm not, but I'm very
They're getting
reluctantly getting to like it. But I literally stopped the treadmill after like 5 minutes of running. I took my Nike and put it in the donation bag.
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
It's just like a dramatic difference.
Yeah.
Like half the weight, half the price.
yeah.
I also think
There
that
you go.
I also think that Nike's gone after the top end of the market and
Yeah.
hasn't thought about the masses. Adidas and
Yeah.
these guys probably are the personalization point that you were making before
Yeah.
applies to products too,
100%.
and that technology
Mm.
is there for these guys to do it. So Nike's got the number one Alpha Fly for, and they
Yeah.
came out and they smashed it. But then Adidas and all these other guys are doing better than them now
Yeah.
because they've got their top end of the market, but they've done the mid market. The weekend warrior athlete like me, well, I can't wear that Alpha Fly.
Yeah.
That special one. My ankles will snap.
Yeah. I mean, look at Adidas, look at Asics.
Yeah.
And they smoke the Nike is even on the top
Yeah,
end
yeah,
now.
absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
this is what like exciting me, like to find a market that is just ready to just come into the world.
They feel like they're ready now.
They are ready.
Yeah.
They just don't know how because they've been so focused on performance marketing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And rightly so. I mean, it's a world driven by price.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Are you seeing that in
And-
automotive,
yeah,
right? Clearly. Yeah.
They're just undercutting the whole world.
Yeah.
And now they're realizing actually, maybe that's not the sustainable way.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't let me build my brand because when I build my brand, I don't have to compete on cost.
No.
I can demand
Oh,
that
no,
premium,
exactly,
that
my
margin
premium,
in my
right?
business. Yeah.
And maybe it's a natural evolution of an economy when it matures for people to see that I have a large enough brand,
Mhm.
I get enough revenue as is. Why am I being tactical?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every time I go to China, I see this coming to life.
Mhm.
And I think it'll be phenomenal over the next couple of years to see those guys show up here.
Mhm. One thing Nick
That's
and I have
amazing.
noticed here, and
Yeah.
it's related to,
Yeah.
not directly related, but related, is the influencer marketing
Yeah.
now taking main stage on the beach.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think in markets like China, in markets like the subcontinent,
Yeah.
and through there, the trust that's required to reach consumers can only be done with
Well,
the
it's
influencers.
becoming a brand
and,
unto
particularly in
themselves, right?
mobile-dominated
Yeah.
countries like these.
Yeah.
That's a big change that we've
Yeah,
noticed down here
huge
today.
change, I
Is that the
Yeah.
influencer guys are now across the road in the main activation space.
Yeah.
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 But I think
Yeah.
see, this is an example of inspiring us. You just shared something, an insight there in regards to that Chinese, like breaking out there
Yeah.
and becoming global brands onto their own. They've built the foundations for it.
Yeah.
right?
They've done the hard work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah.
did it the hard way, right?
Yeah.
They've built it over time. And now I had a meeting with somebody at Xiaomi on the car side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last time I was in Beijing. And he's like, we actually advanced our plans to export. Not that we have any constraint on demand in China. They're already like running 6-7 months backlog. But they're like, we now see that people started associating Xiaomi with this amazing car that
Yeah.
we've built.
Mm-hmm.
and I want to figure out how to do it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
he's open about it. Like, I don't know how to do this because all my ideas start with like, I'm going to put my SEO 7 performance against a Lamborghini
Mhm.
and I'll smoke it. I'm like, I know you will.
Yeah,
Now what?
Yeah, but now what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he's
exactly.
like, well, I'm going to open stores and people come to those stores. I'm like, how?
Mm.
I was like, don't know. But
Yeah.
our brand is very important. I'm like, I know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
But now they have to start thinking of the world. And he's like, but it's Xiaomi.
yeah.
Like, I've got the goodwill of the Chinese. I'm going to go out and buy my goodwill outside,
Mhm.
but not buy in the tactical sense of like performance marketing,
No. Yeah.
right? I'm going to earn it.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal to hear a new brand coming up
Yeah.
and saying, I need my space in
Is
the
this
world.
this is a big opportunity for the large kind of, the whole reason why Can exists, right?
Yeah.
The creativity and lines was all about the big idea, the big advertising brand. That's really where you're saying these Chinese brands need to get better at and lean into. That's really an opportunity for them.
Yeah.
Is to see how the West has done that and then kind of apply that to their brands, because it sounds like they've built the quality, they've done hard work.
Yeah.
They've got great products.
Yeah.
They've worked out all the flaws around the product. The
Yeah.
products, what was it? I was reading an article saying, I can't remember the brand, but they're basically building faster Porsches at a fifth of the price.
Oh, yeah. That's
But
what
the only difference is
Xiaomi.
the only
Don't
difference is
get
the
him
brand.
started on Porsches.
Right,
It's
the
one of his
only-
favorite topics. Colin Lewis will be joining us later too, and then those two will just talk
Let's not
about
say
Porsches
a bad
instead
word about that
Yeah.
wonderful company. But it's interesting that they, because they've got the product, but they
Yeah.
don't have the brand.
of.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be fascinating. I think I'll look out for it. I think
Yeah.
when you
Well-
start seeing them pop up here, that's a real shift and a change in the kind of the branded dynamics here as well, right? Having a lot of
Yeah, and
Chinese brand.
It's
land.
a process, it's a journey for them.
Mhm.
They know it. They just need help to, have somebody walk along that journey.
Mm.
And-
So I think the test will be in 12 months' time. We'll be sitting in this van again because we'll be doing the van again.
Right.
And I will be wearing a pair of Chinese running shoes.
Absolutely.
Because I'm a keen runner.
You
That'll be
think
the
I'm not
test.
wearing them right now?
Oh, are you?
I'm not.
Ah,
but,
damn it.
But
Where'd you look?
but in my trip, after having these conversations with some of them, before I flew out, I went to 3 of those stores and I bought those shoes. And they're by far the best shoes I've had for my own running.
There you go.
By far.
There
Yeah,
you go.
right. Wow.
So Kunal, we're wrapping up now.
Yeah.
If you're on the plane on Friday,
Yeah.
and you're sitting in your seat, you're going, "That was a successful Can." What do you think you're walking away with?
If I can move many of our conversations with the buy side
Mm-hmm.
to our corporate focus of commerce,
Right.
I think I would have called that as a big win.
Yeah.
Because moving people to think commerce,
Mhm.
like I said earlier, right? Commerce media,
Yeah.
is not intuitive to many of the brands
No.
because they see it as a challenge that a B2B challenge. It's somebody else will solve for it. And I'm
Mhm.
telling them, you have tech at your,
Mhm.
disposal now.
Yep.
You have the right pricing of that tech.
That's right. It's been
And you have the
democratized.
partners who are willing to build with you.
Yeah, the tech exists.
We should talk about commerce as the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
If I can, make even like 2 of them say, let's go build it together, I think it would be a great success.
Fantastic. It's always a thoughtful conversation.
Yeah.
I
Great
really
to chat with
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you for coming
So
on.
happy you can join us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And have
fantastic.
a happy and successful rest of the Can. And I hope you're sitting on that plane thinking that when you head home.
I'm really hoping so.
Great.
I think it's time.
Awesome.
A lot to unpack there.
From AI and attribution to retail media maturity, there's one thing becoming clear. The rules of discovery are changing fast.
Tomorrow, we zoom out even further with retail media experts, publishers, and strategy leaders.
We'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to the Commerce Media Matters podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow and subscribe. We're always on the pulse of the ever-changing landscape of commerce media, ready to share the newest trends, insightful perspectives, and expert opinions with you. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep making media that matters. This podcast is executively produced and edited by Priya Tahazadeh, with co-producers Sandy Ho and me, Rachel Fang. This podcast is recorded on the lands of the Bidjigal, Gadigal, and Wurundjeri people, and we wish to acknowledge them as the traditional owners of the land.